from the Ron Miller Race Car Studio, this is the Hammer Down Racing Report. And now your hosts, Scott Hammer and Ron Miller.
Welcome, race fans, to the Hammer Down Racing Report. I'm your host, Scott Hammer, along with Ron Miller.
Oh, man, that volume was up too high, Scott. Oh,
that's not my fault.
You shattered my eardrums. What little bit of my hearing is left is gone.
Got a big show for you tonight. We have a couple Schroyers in the studio, Rody Schroyer and son RJ. So we're going to talk some dirt late model racing and some motocross, as a matter of fact.
Scott, in 83 shows, it's our first with a professional motocross racer.
Professional? You get paid to do that? What's that?
Not much.
It's kind of like dirt track racing in general.
Right. Yeah.
Also on the show, we got some pretty big announcements coming up. We'll cover a little bit later. Their name's still being tossed around, but it's a pretty big event. I'm excited about this.
I am really pleased with the people that are involved with it.
Because they like your idea. That's why you're pleased, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Thanks.
And just so that we can toss it out, and I know those folks are listening, try this for a name. And it was suggested by my favorite wife, and she said Dirty Thursday.
Details on that coming up a little bit later.
Yeah, absolutely.
Stick around for that. Coming at you live simultaneously for the first time on... Whoa. Those are loud. You want to turn that down.
Yeah, turn them volume. Oh, there we go. Whoa, yeah.
I don't even need to put them on.
And you were just going to announce our high-tech...
Yeah, that has nothing to do with us broadcasting live simultaneously on Facebook. Facebook Live, we're always Facebook Live. Hi, Chris. Chris says hello on our Facebook Live. But we are also on YouTube Live for the very first time, and Twitter and Periscope, as a matter of fact, all at the same time. So if you're not a fan of Facebook... There's other ways to now take in the show live.
You can watch
in addition to listening to the podcast on iHeartRadio or Stitcher or Spotify or Google or iTunes.
At whatever time you want.
At whenever you want, yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, if you're a big fan of YouTube, you can switch over to YouTube right now and just search Hammer Down Racing Report.
Yeah.
And we're there.
That's what's happening. Hold on. All right. A little bit of Lysol helps. Visit Hammerdown. Oh, that's strong. Holy cow. Visit HammerdownRacingReport.com. We got links to everything there, our Twitter, our Facebook, our brand new Twitter. We just started after the show last week, by the way. So that's a first too.
Right.
Make sure to follow us on Twitter. It's at Hammer Report.
Okay.
It was the best I could do since we're late to the Twitter game. All the good names were taken. So Hammer Report is...
Ours would have been too long, too.
Yeah, well, that's the other problem. Yeah. So, but Hammer Report, Hammer Report.
That Lysol's, it's clear over here,
I got it in my face, so that was stronger than I thought. Where was I? We did all that. We have those new sponsorship opportunities as well. That's listed on HammerdownRacingReport.com with our live broadcasts, live on location broadcasts. And our first quarter audience data is on there as well. As we mentioned last week, we had 71,300 minutes viewed or listened of the show. I'm going down. And 25,718 episode views, plays, and downloads.
It really is amazing,
so,
Scott.
I mean, we got a pretty good audience up there, so that's pretty cool. Despite our problems with microphones and chairs and
it's all you,
we
Scott.
Appreciate you sticking with us.
It's all you, buddy.
And maybe that's part of the appeal of the show is you never know what's going to happen next. Speaking of which, we have the breaking news coming up a little bit later. Keep teasing that.
Absolutely.
I'm excited about that.
I am too.
Before we get to that, I want to mention tonight on the show, veteran late model racer Rody Schroyer and son joining us as well, RJ Schroyer. Again, we'll be talking to them more directly about their racing careers and the different paths that they're on, and maybe learning some more about motocross. I've been to one motocross event, and it was at the Delta track.
Okay.
Delta?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been there.
Okay.
Yeah, many times.
So I don't really have a vast knowledge of motocross. So we're gonna
learn
some stuff.
You may have actually seen RJ race.
It was quite a few years ago.
Well, he's been doing it
about 10 years.
Quite a few years. Yeah,
for a long time. Yeah.
All right. So we'll get to know them a little bit later, a little bit better a little bit later. First, I want to mention Ron Miller Race Cars. out of Lambertville, Michigan. All your race car parts you need, like these things.
Right.
And race cars and work and stuff. And, yeah. You do everything.
We've got a Buick.
Complete
We've got a
service.
Buick Grand National there that we're doing a back half on. So, going to be a drag race car.
And you finally got my car out of the shop.
I did. I was kind of concerned about having to cut this Buick Grand National apart, but the customer cut it apart for us. So all we've got to do is put it back together. I just thought it was kind of sacrilege, but what do I know?
So pretty much he'll do anything.
Yeah.
734-856-7223. That's 856-RACE. Give Ron a call anytime, day or night. Free advice.
We're making some roof caps for some greenhouses this week. So, yeah, we do it all.
Any specials going on this week?
Oh, no.
Any, there was that issue about fuel at a particular track. Do you have any of that? Or I saw that Wallace Race Products is going to be selling some out of their shop, not at the track.
Right. As far as I know right now, no one has stepped forward
All right. Well,
to
maybe we'll
take care of it weekly. Yeah.
talk more about that later so racers aren't caught off guard that are headed out
And
to...
if the management at that track wants to message you, if they have found someone, we'd sure like to know.
Yeah, I think she was on here, so yeah. She's got my number. Go ahead and text me. My phone's turned down. I might pay attention to it. Racing this past weekend was pretty much non-existent, unfortunately, due to the Easter holiday and the weather. Speaking of which, we have the weekend weather pit stop coming up a little bit later. Special guest meteorologist doing that tonight.
It won't be Ryan Wakeman?
No, I sent the information over to him too late, and apparently he had already left, so
Really?
I missed him, yeah. It was a busy day. I got other work to do. So.
Must have been a busy day for Ryan, too,
Yeah.
because he should have been calling you.
He should have, because, well, we'll talk about the weather a little bit later. But Attica Raceway Park, of course, was rained out. They were supposed to have the double header with the All-Stars, the Spring Nationals. Oh, yeah. That's why I have this. We'll talk about that coming up a little bit later because that's going to be this weekend now. Tomorrow, as a matter of fact, they're going to condense everything into one day. But we'll tell you more about that a little bit later when we talk about the upcoming races for this weekend. Toledo Speedway was rained out as well. They had the Ross Mortgage Spring 200 that was supposed to be run on Saturday.
Right, with their Outlaw late models plus the ARCA CRA cars. Would have been a good show.
Yeah. So that's been rescheduled for...
You seem distracted, Scott.
June 30th. I am a little bit. I was thinking of something. I thought I had made a mistake on something, but I think I'm all right. But, yeah, that event's going to be made up on June 30th. Crystal Motor Speedway was about the only track in action that was closest to our area this past weekend. And
big car counts up there.
because nobody else was racing.
That's it.
That's what happens. Logan Arts out of Vestaburg, Michigan, held off Rusty Schlenk up there for a late model feature win. It was a pretty good race. I was watching that.
It was, yes.
NASCAR and ARCA at Talladega this weekend. The ARCA General Tire 200 is going to be tomorrow at 6 p.m. You can watch that on Fox Sports 1. The Xfinity Series will be racing the Money Lion 300 on Saturday at 1, also on Fox Sports 1. And the Cup Series at Talladega on Sunday for the Geico 500. It's going to be Sunday at 2. You can watch that on Fox, or you can listen to that on our sister station, 103.7 CKY, which is also available on iHeartRadio.
And the Cup cars, for the first time in Lord knows how many years, will be running without the restrictor plates.
Yeah, I've seen some things that's going to be a little unpredictable.
Yeah, big blades, so they're hoping that the spoilers slow the cars down, but they're going to have horsepower again. We'll see how this works.
I was reading an article, I didn't put in my prep here just before we came on, that I guess the changes NASCAR has made has created more green flag passing this year compared to years past.
You know, Scott...
So by the numbers, I guess they're saying the racing's better?
Yeah. It kind of depends on the race. Some of the races, and I've watched them all this year...
Coming from the guy who...
hates NASCAR.
Yeah.
No.
Can't miss one of them. Hate that stuff.
But At some tracks, their new aero package has worked out really well. At other tracks, maybe not so much. I don't know. The jury's still out.
Well, and this will be the first time at the previous restrictor plate tracks that they got this new package, because they didn't run this at Daytona.
Right.
So a lot of unknowns, and it could be interesting here. Getting dirty on asphalt on Dirty Thursday. That's what Chris Mai said.
Okay.
I'm catching up on some of the comments here. Yes, someone has contacted us and will be at the track starting May 4th for the fuel issue. So we'll talk about that later and what that's all about. NASCAR has revealed the format and rules for the 2019 All-Star Race at Charlotte Motor Speedway coming up on May 18th. That's the weekend before the 600, Coca-Cola 600, I believe. The car is being tweaked again. This is going to be a little bit different thing again.
A little different aero
they're
package.
They're going to be doing some Gen 7 car things. They're tweaking the splitter in the hood area with the possibility of these changes being incorporated into the Gen 7 car that is going to be coming out next year. No, 2 years, 2021. Race will be running 4 stages, 30 laps, 2 20-lap stages, and a 15 green flag lap final stage, which is up from an increase of 5 laps total.
For qualifying.
No, that's the race.
A race format. And
4 stages.
4 stages. 15 laps.
First stage is 30.
Yep.
Then 2 20-lap stages, and then the last 15 lap, and that's going to be all green flag. So it'll be
really,
like your local short track caution laps won't
that's
count.
Pretty.
So there's that. And really, that's about all the other news I had heard about that kind of stuff. So let's move forward into this breaking news we're talking about, getting dirty on the asphalt.
You're sure you want to do that?
No, let's hold that off. Let's wait a little bit.
Yeah, let's interview Rody and RJ.
Okay, well, I got some other things here. Lucas Oil late models have already canceled this weekend's events in Illinois. They were scheduled to race Tri-City Speedway in Macon as well. So those have already been canceled because of the weather. Again, we'll have our own weekend weather pit stop coming up a little bit later. None of the tracks around here have canceled yet. Eldora has moved their time up for their start on Saturday. Originally, they were going to start at 7:30. Now, I believe it's 2 o'clock. For some reason, I didn't put that in here. But I'm pretty sure they're racing starting at 2. I think gates open at 11.
Okay, so if you were planning on going to Eldora this weekend,
get there
please
early.
Check their website.
Yeah. And keep an eye on social media or their website for any changes in that, because the weather seems to not be.
Yeah. If you plan on,
I think we're taking a step back this weekend.
Yeah. If you look at their original schedule, you just could be a little bit late.
Yeah. What has this been something that's been done before with racetracks changing start times? Or is this kind of a recent phenomenon?
Eldora seems like they can do it, yeah.
Well, I mean, like last year, Fremont changed their opener. They pushed it back so it was an earlier start time as opposed to a regular 7 o'clock time. That was because it was freezing cold in the middle of April last year. It just seems like in 10 years ago, or even more than that, before social media and people were so connected, it seemed like that would be harder to communicate.
And I think social media has really changed that.
So that's a positive of social media as opposed to the people that get on there and bitch about stuff.
You said a bad word.
I did. It's all right. We can say that. It's just a female dog.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. You got a bitch at home, don't you?
Well, she's not anymore, but she used to was.
Okay. Moving on. A little bit more Talladega news here, which I thought was kind of cool because I just like this guy's name, Stanton Barrett.
Oh, yeah.
Because I always when I first heard his name, I thought he said Standon Barrett. Like, why is this? Why do they keep saying Standon Barrett?
Okay, Scott.
Like, I don't know what that means.
This show's going to hell in a handbasket, buddy.
Stanton Barrett's returning to NASCAR Cup racing this weekend at Talladega. He's going to be piloting the number 52 Chevy for Rick Ware Racing. It is his first Cup Series start on a super speedway. He's actually fresh off doing some stunt work for the upcoming John Wick 3 movie. So
really?
That's pretty cool. Yeah. Another driver will be making his Cup debut, his very first race in Cup Series action. It's going to be 3-time Truck Series champ Justin Haley. He's going to be driving the 77 Chevy for Spire Motorsports.
Okay.
Dale Earnhardt Sr.'s ex-wife, mother of Dale Jr. and Kelly, passed away earlier this week. Monday, as a matter of fact. Brenda Jackson was 65. She was battling cancer, I guess. Dirt car has, this is something that we kind of talked about, hinted at, that we wanted to be breaking news on a few weeks ago regarding Atomic Speedway.
Yeah,
We've kind of got half of it announced, I guess.
sort of.
Yeah. Well, Dirt Car has released this. This is on their website. Dirt Car Racing has added 13 new tracks in Ohio and East regions for the 2019 season, with competitors ultimately racing for the Dirt Car UMP Modified National Championship. So we're talking modifieds here.
Right.
That's what was announced. In the Ohio region, those tracks include Atomic Speedway, Jackson County Speedway, Mansfield Motor Speedway, Midway Speedway, and Muskegon County Speedway. Those tracks will join Eldora, Limaland, Oakshade, and
Attica.
Portsmouth and Moeller Raceway. Yeah, he didn't have Attica on here.
Well, shame on them.
Yeah, and this is from the Dirt Car.
Oh, that's right, because you were talking modifieds.
Oh yeah, that would make well. I guess Oakshade does run modifieds.
Right, couple times.
But yeah, that was kind of the news that.
Now, what
they're gonna
about that
be
other
Dirt
division?
Car sanction. Well, what other division do they run there? I guess there's still work being done on that.
That other division.
That I'm not sure we're allowed to talk about.
Okay.
So, but I'm sure people could probably put the things together. Apparently, I can't. I came across a video from ABC News this past week. I put it up on my WIOT blog thing about race car drivers being real athletes. And it seems like this has been an argument that's gone back through the ages, ever since auto racing's been around. What do you think? What's your opinion? See, because I look at myself, I'm like, technically I race, but I don't think I'm an athlete.
You know,
I can't keep up with my kid.
Me personally, I used to be, but I'm not sure anymore.
I mean, granted, at the upper levels of NASCAR and IndyCar and all that, those guys, they got trainers. They're working
They absolutely have to be to run the endurance that they do. I mean, those races are brutal.
And what's this? Jimmy Johnson just finished the Boston Marathon in the top 15%.
Right.
So that's saying something. He's competing with some pretty good runners there.
Absolutely.
I'm guessing. So I don't know. It's just kind of one of those things. And some people are like, you get in the car and you turn left. They're not an athlete.
No, it takes a lot. It really does. And hand-eye coordination is a huge thing. And a lot of people don't have that.
Well, then you're a video game player, right?
Yeah. Or not.
It's a lot different playing a video than he knows. He drove the car last summer, and he's an athlete, but he found out how hard they are to drive.
Yeah, race car drivers are 100% athletes.
Yay!
Yeah.
He said you're an athlete. Did you play some other sport?
I played baseball growing up.
Are baseball players athletes?
Like
They get paid good, I know that.
That's a whole other show.
A lot better than we do.
Yeah.
I guess it kind of comes down to what's the definition of an athlete, right?
Right.
Because, I mean, I don't know, are sumo wrestlers athletes? I suppose they are, but they're probably you probably could outrun them in a dash or some 60-meter dash.
I would think so, yeah.
So I guess it just kind of depends on the sport.
Scott, I would take that challenge if
Would you?
Yeah, I really would.
All right. This summer, look out, Ron Miller versus a sumo racer in the 60-meter dash.
There we go.
It's a headlining act right there.
I think I can still do 100 meters if you want.
You wanna hold off on that announcement yet here? Or
Yeah, I
talk
think
to
we
these
better.
guys. Okay.
Yep.
Eldora has a flex starting time for opening night for the past couple of years. Oh, Dave says Eldora's had a flex starting time for opening night the past couple of years. So makes sense, especially if you can easily communicate it. So
watch their Facebook page. Watch their website.
And especially this weekend with the weather. So we got Rody Schroyer and RJ Schroyer in the studio, and let's start with Rody here, because I'm assuming you have the longer career. I'm guessing
A little bit.
a little bit. Okay. So how long have you been racing?
Well,
And pull that mic up close to you there.
I started racing motorcycles.
So is that how he got into it? I wasn't sure.
Well, the whole Schroyer family raced
I did not know
motorcycles
that.
at one
Yeah,
point.
my whole family raced motorcycles.
Gotcha.
And other than my dad, he never. I mean, he raced a few enduro races, but I started racing bikes in 1973, and then I started cars in 1982, and then I still raced bikes too, though, until like '96. so I was doing it both.
Okay.
But then
So how'd you get into the cars, though?
my uncle was
Just
racing
from the
USAC,
Enduros? Oh, okay.
and he'd called me and said he had a Chevy Nova sitting around if I wanted to come and get it. I think I paid $350 for it, and I went to a fence company and got fence posts for a roll cage, which people don't want to start out the way I did. But, and I loved it. And it was getting, I was probably 24. Well, I was 22 when I got my first race car, but it's just bikes take a lot out of you. And the cars were easier, and I was having fun doing it. And I've just been doing it ever since.
So
the bikes take a big physical toll.
Yeah, they're hard on your body, and you have to be in shape. I mean, if you want to run good, you have to be in good shape. You got to be able to hang on. It's a rough sport.
what tracks did you run at when you first started the racing, the four-wheel racing?
With stock cars?
Yeah.
I think my first race was at Oakshade, but
Okay.
then, because I started at the end of '82, so the racing was almost over with. So I went to Indiana and I ran 4 different asphalt tracks and hated asphalt. So I couldn't wait for Oakshade to start up in '83, and then I've just been on dirt ever since.
Did you run at Bryan as well?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I thought I
Oakshade
remember seeing
Friday
your
and
name in
Saturday
some of
and
those
Bryan
old
and
articles.
Sunday. Crystal, I mean, I think I've been to 20 different racetracks. But
Oh, it has to be more than that with the
Yes, sir.
Australian tracks.
yeah, I thought we ran maybe 5 or 6 over there.
Right.
So you ran down in Australia as well? Mm-hmm. When? What year was that? Was that with him when he went?
The winter
there?
of 99, 2000.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you win?
Yes, he did. He was the showboat.
We ran
Okay.
8 races and I won 5 of them.
So no matter what, you won more than he won.
He won 1, my brother won 1, and Brad Blake won 1.
Talking about
Who's
Todd?
partly
My
American
brother
anyway.
Todd, yep. Yep. Yep, all 3 of us went to Ron's shop, put them in a container, and shipped our cars over there.
I remember that. I remember hearing about
Wade
that.
Onger was the announcer down at Millstream, and he brought a couple of Aussie racers over, and they were just trying to get late models started over there at that time, and they kept saying, "Oh, we're going to have you guys over at Australian." Yeah, whatever. Yeah, that's never going to happen. We just figured it was smoke.
It did.
Yeah.
So speaking of Todd, I haven't seen him in quite a few years. When was the last time he's been in a race car?
When he drove for Grandpa, and that would have been, 2008, probably about 2005.
Yeah, so that
Would
was
be
a
the
while
last
ago.
time he's drove, yeah.
So what's he doing now?
Just working.
It's working. Okay.
His wife won't let him race. She says it's too dangerous.
So what do you do when you're not racing? Help him out. Okay.
Help him.
So you're still involved in the motocross
Yeah.
stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. When did you start driving the late model?
I bought my very first late model in 1992, the end of 92. Again, I got it at the end of the season. There was only a couple races. So then I raced it in all of 93. And then 94, I won the first championship at Oakshade.
When was your first championship at Oakshade?
95 and 96, and Rody, you were 98 again?
Yeah, 94, 98, and 2008.
That's right. You got a championship recently. I've forgotten about that.
Well,
within
2008.
11 years. Well, for some reason, 10 years ago, 11 years ago doesn't seem that long to me anymore. I don't know.
Yep.
But did any championships at any other tracks?
No, I finished second at Millstream. Rick DeLong won. I was second. That's one of them that when Ron won Oakshade. I never really chased championships. I just liked to race.
Okay.
I enjoyed it. That's all I ever wanted to do. Yeah, even on the bikes, I rode every single day and raced every weekend.
Now, do you have a favorite track?
I don't know that I have a favorite because they're all a little different. And they're all different to drive. And West Virginia Motor Speedway was a nice track. Remember when we went
Right.
down there? That was a nice
Absolutely.
track. Eldora's fun, but I never really had a big enough motor. But it was always fun. Oakshade's fun because of the competition. I've had fun at all of them, except the asphalt tracks.
Crystal for the Dealer's Choice race, those
Yeah.
were fun.
Yep.
Now, how many times have you retired?
Oh, couple. The first time I retired, I totaled a car, and I stayed away for a while. And then I thought, well, I'm okay now. I'll go sit in the grandstands. Next week, I had another car. I was back racing again. And then it's, after Grandpa said he was selling his race car, which Alan bought, I figured then I was done. But it just so happens I was walking through the pits at Oakshade one night, and I heard Alan tell his driver at the time that he better find another driver, or the driver said, you better find another driver because I'm done after tonight. And I just said, I'll drive it, and kept right on walking. And the next morning he called me up, said, you want to drive for me? And I said, yes. And
And you're talking about Alan Blake, right?
Alan Blake
The
from Australia.
Australian, yeah, okay.
And it's been 9 years now.
So, what do you consider your status right now as far as being a racer?
He is.
Part-time.
Part-time, okay. That's a good answer.
Just
That's
when
a good way to
Alan's here,
describe
we
it.
race, we have fun.
So primarily, you're just running Alan's car.
Yes.
And all the other times when he's not here, it sits.
Sits in my barn,
Okay.
and then I go with him.
Doing the motocross
Yep.
thing. Cool.
Yep.
While Alan's here, they do a good job on keeping Corona in business too.
Right.
And we were talking before the show. You asked Alan if you could take it out to Oakshade this weekend for some hot laps. Right?
Yes. And I haven't heard back yet, so that must mean I'm okay to go.
That's what we're thinking. That's what that means.
But Alan, you didn't say no.
Right.
How many times have you been called Rody?
From Billy Paxton, every single time. A lot.
Just because you spell your name a little differently than you would think Roddy with two D's. You just have one D. So
Yeah.
Okay. I think I don't remember. I don't know why I've always known as Roddy, but what's your most fondest memory from any night of racing in your career? Is there one that stands out? I know you've had quite a few of them.
Well, obviously the Australian ones. Those,
Running in Australia.
yeah, running over there and
Signing
actually won.
autographs till 2 a.m.
Yeah, I mean, we were always made sure we were the last ones there. If anyone wanted to talk or hang around, we made sure we stayed. So that was a big part. And I think one of my, as a driver for my best I ever did was starting 18th at the feature at Oakshade one night and won. It was a Sunoco race. I mean, I was pretty proud of that. But like I say, I just like to race. I don't like to showboat or anything like that. I just want to race.
Now, do you have any? Did you have any like rivals or anybody you considered like a rival during your career at any point during your career?
Not really a rival, but as far as someone to race with and have a lot of fun, Ron and I always did.
Okay.
Always, we're racing together and slide jobbing each other, and it just had a lot of fun.
Now, Hillard Miller told a story when we had him in here a few weeks ago about something that happened at Millstream. Have you guys had any contact or disagreements about things on the track?
Not so much. And if we did, it wasn't an argument after the races. I mean, Ron used to pay for the aluminum on my race car and everything.
Oh,
So I didn't mind denting it.
Right. The hardest he ever hit me was going the scales because he said he could. It was his aluminum.
Okay, makes sense. So, what are your plans for this year?
Alan comes in June 12th, which I believe is a Tuesday. So I'm sure we'll start. We may even go to Attica that Friday night. It usually takes him a few days to get his jet lag gone, but he still wants to go racing. So,
Was it like 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning in Australia right now?
yeah.
So,
12 hours right now.
oh,
yeah.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so whatever he wants to do.
Now, will you run every week or weekend that he's here? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yep.
He's fun to talk to too.
Yeah,
So,
he's a nice guy.
he might be listening to this eventually, if not live.
Yeah.
So you're going to run the Summer Nationals then? Will he still be here then? How long is he staying?
He usually stays about 4 weeks, 5 weeks.
Okay.
So I think he'll be here for the birthday race.
So you plan to race. You would like to race.
Yeah, he should be here for
Okay.
the
Yeah.
2 summer national races.
Awesome. Looking forward to that. I think that was all the things I had on here.
Some of my of my favorite racing memories are with Rody, and especially back in the old Bryan days. And we would, either one of us could get out in front, especially in a heat race, and back it down just a little bit and wait for the other one, and we just had a lot of fun.
Yep, it was.
And like Rody said, slide jobs and whatever it took to make it look like a great race.
Chris Mize wants to know if you might be racing October 3rd. We haven't made that announcement yet, so I don't know if you know what we're talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about yet, so as of right now, no.
Okay. All right. Well,
From what I know.
we got a big announcement coming up shortly.
All right, I'll let you know then.
Yeah. Have to ask Alan.
Yeah.
Let's talk to RJ here. Now you're keeping the family tradition going with the motocross thing, right?
Trying to. Yeah.
So how long have you been running that? What year did you get started?
Well, actually, my first year racing was the same year they left for Australia. My first race actually was when they were in Australia. Me and my mom went, and I was just on a PW50. But
So you missed his first race?
Yep.
Oh, jeez.
I didn't like that, but
Okay.
I was in Australia. I couldn't help it.
All right. And then what did you? Were you just hooked?
How old were you there, RJ?
I was 4 years old.
Holy
Yeah.
cow!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, young.
That's perspective there. That's pretty. So, how many years you been doing this?
I'm 24 now, so 20 years.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm assuming the bikes were much smaller when you were 4 years
Yeah,
old.
yeah. I started on a PW50, and then moved to a 65 Kawasaki, then an 85 Kawasaki, and then I didn't really take it serious until I would say probably.
What do those numbers stand for? I mean,
That's the
I'm-
size of
I'm-
the
okay,
engine size.
that's what I thought. I have a
Yeah.
motorcycle. I wasn't sure. I just
Yeah.
want to make sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So those are the little ones. I didn't take it serious until about 85s. I would just ride for fun, and we'd ride around the neighborhood. And my buddy Perbula's house, we'd go up there occasionally. But yeah, once I got an 85s, my dad got me a Suzuki, and yeah, just hit it hard. Was going down south with my friend Jeff Walker and his family, and yeah, just practiced a bunch, and that's where it all began, really.
So do you run all over the place, or you just stick around here?
Yeah, with the Walker family, we've been to Canada, and then basically anywhere from here to Florida to a ton of tracks. So I've been all over.
So how often do you race each week? Is it just a weekend thing, or?
Yeah. I really don't race that much. I just practice and ride around it. I got a track down the road from my dad's house. It's Rick Hauk owns it, and it's a phenomenal sand track. There's a kid there named Chris Miller. They kind of share the property, and Chris was a pro as well, very fast. And I was able to ride with them guys, and Rick, out of the courtesy of his heart, he allowed us to come, and we have access to his track. So it's beautiful sand track, good practice, and that's where I do most of my riding.
I think I saw some video of you getting pretty high up in the air.
Yeah, I'm sure.
How I mean, I'm assuming when you're 4 years old, you're not just shooting off of those
No.
jumps and flying 20 feet up in the air. I mean, how do you
No.
how do you get yourself up to that?
It took a long time. I hated jumping. I wouldn't jump a pencil. You know, I was terrified of jumping, and just going down south with the Walkers, they really did push me and made me better. I was terrified. I was a goon rider at that point. They'd make fun of me, and I don't know, just hanging out with them, they were so much above me. I wanted to be that good, so any question I had, I'd go to them. They'd help me out, and yeah, just practice, and eventually I got the hang of it. But it did take a while. I don't like jumping. Now I do.
Now
I
you
enjoy
do?
it. Yeah, I love jumping, but not the big stuff anymore. I get hurt easier. I've taken some falls over the years. So
What's the worst injury you've suffered doing this?
The worst, I would say, would be at Rick's house in the sand, where it's the most rough you can get.
So this was just a practice thing?
Yeah, just a practice. I was just practicing, and I came out of a corner, and there was a part of this tree branches hanging, or like a tree root hanging into the track, and I caught it with my foot peg, and it threw the bike out sideways, and I slammed into the face of the jump, and it knocked me out, and I was out for probably 5-8 minutes or something like that, but it twisted my vertebrae, and I had S going. My neck was messed up. My collarbone was out of place. I had some serious internal stuff going on. I peed blood, all sorts of stuff. Yeah, so that was a bad one.
How long did it take you to recover from all that?
Well, I didn't see. I was in high school still, and my dad's tough. So he, come on, Pansy, you're fine. Shake it off. You go to school. So I'm going to school, and I was wearing a book bag, and at the time, I don't know why, I kept all my books in it. And it was heavy, and finally I just couldn't take it on my back. And I told my mom that I needed to see a chiropractor or something, and we went and seen a chiropractor, and he couldn't believe I was even walking on my back the way it was. And it took about 3 visits for him to get it all set back in place where it would stay. And after that, it was good, but it was a long road. It hurt.
So you eventually got a clean bill of health, and we're go back and fly 20 feet up in the air again.
Yeah.
Or is it, do you go higher than that?
The biggest jump I did is at Redbud in Buchanan, Michigan, and it's called Larocco's Leap, and it's a triple 3 jump, and it's about 140 feet long, and you fly probably 3-4 stories high in the air. So yeah, that would be the biggest one.
Kind of a rush.
Big rush. Yeah, big rush. Big rush.
It's a rush watching it too.
Yeah.
Well, I'm guessing that the jumping and the flying actually isn't so bad. It's the landing that's probably the biggest issue sometimes.
Yeah, and as the track gets rougher, you got to pick your line and be very cautious of where the big bumps are, and where everybody else is going, because the face of the jump changes, the landing changes, the corner after it, and before it changing every lap. So you gotta be aware, but it's always a rush jumping that jump.
A lot of the Schroyers have been involved with circle track racing. Mm-hmm. Have you ever thought of incorporating circle track in motorcycles and maybe doing some flat track racing?
I thought about it.
I just think, I'm not a motorcycle guy, but I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, and some of the older guys now I see are transferring over and doing the circle track racing. I think it's really neat. I don't know if I'd have the skill for it, because I'm not much of, I don't know how it'd be sliding a motorcycle.
I don't think he has the guts. I tried to talk him into ice racing, and he wouldn't do it.
Really?
Because I've done ice racing. It's fun.
On a motorcycle?
Yeah.
With studs and all of that? Mm-hmm. Yeah?
Yeah, it was fun. That's like driving a late model with a sideboard.
Okay.
Motorcycle with a stud. I mean, you wouldn't think on ice they're fast, but they are, and they hook up really well.
Now, did you run races in North Carolina and South Carolina?
Yeah. Yep, both.
Cheryl Crawford Murphy wants you to tell us about that.
When I was going for my pro license, I rode at a track.
So you actually have a license?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't really.
Yeah. Yep.
Yes.
Nobody gave me a license.
Yeah, you can't just show up at a national event and race. You got to be certified.
Okay.
That's kind of a pain
Sorry,
to
dude.
get, too. Yeah. But, yeah, no, South and North Carolina, I've been to many tracks there, none that I can really recall. It was just at a period of time. See, to get your pro license, you have to hit a certain amount of events they're called pro-ams, and they're at specific tracks on specific weekends. So you kind of have to chase after it. And I chased after it for about a year and ended up obviously getting my pro license. But I do remember racing in North or South Carolina. I just don't remember the name of the track.
Those tracks all kind of blur together.
Yeah. There's so many I've been to. I can't think of one off the top. I've been there to practice a bunch, and I've raced there, but I don't remember the name of the track.
Okay. Have you ever thought about doing what your dad does on a full-time basis? Getting
late
a stock
model
car or even a sprint car. Any kind of something with 4 wheels.
I was just in Ron's shop today, and I seen a go-kart on the ground that I was interested in.
Okay.
But a late model, not at all.
No interest. Do you ever go watch him race?
I've actually tried to drive one before, and I'm terrible at it. I have a video on my Instagram that I laugh at watching because it's just I'm going an eighth of the speed of what they do, so it's funny, but it gave me such a greater respect for what they do, and because I've been watching my dad. I think the first race I went to, I was 2 weeks old. My mom.
Oh, you remember that, right? Real vividly. Sure.
Yeah, right.
He was in the grandstands in Mansfield at 3 weeks old.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, they. I've been watching them my whole life, and sitting in the stands, you watch and you say, well, I see this guy, he's leaving it on a little bit longer, or he's power braking, or
Anybody can do it.
right. Yeah, that's how you feel when you're sitting in the stands, and when you get on the track and you're actually in the car and you have to shift it into gear, and then you feel the power it puts on, and when it rolls over and the G forces it puts on your body and everything like that, it's just something that a normal person wouldn't expect, and I can play a video game great, and we do lap times and stuff just playing around, and I'm comparable there, but in a actual late model, there's no chance. I'm terrified of it, honestly.
Maybe just a bomber or something.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
All right. We'll have to switch. I'll
Right.
do the motorcycle thing, although I'm not sure about the jumping. Well, last week I rode
I
my
can tell you,
motorcycle home.
I can
and
tell you, jumping.
I was racing last week.
Jumping on two wheels is highly overrated.
What are your plans for this year?
I would like to try for Loretta Lynn's national this year.
What is that for?
It's Loretta Lynn is the country singer. She has an amateur national motocross race on her property, which I would say.
Where's her property?
Tennessee, I believe. Yeah,
Okay.
Tennessee. Yeah. But it's the biggest in the world, I would say. But yeah, I would like to try for that. I've made it 4 times and just have never went. So
When is that?
Because of my grades and things like that. But it's it's middle of summer.
Okay.
Yeah. So
So
a long while from now. But you have qualifiers and regionals.
oh,
and
okay. So
stuff
there's
like
other
that
events
leading up.
that build up to
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Right now is the area qualifier time. Everyone's hitting their area qualifier. You got to be in the top 8 or 7 to advance to the regional, and then the same thing at the regional to make it to Loretta's. And they only take 40 to Loretta Lynn's. So whatever class you're in, you are technically the fastest 40 in that class for that year, amateur-wise.
And that's in the whole country. That's
Okay.
not just Toledo or something like that. It's
Right.
in the whole country.
So have you run any qualifiers yet this year? Or is it?
I have not. For our region, they just started,
Okay.
And we're making plans to get my suspension done. He just got me a 2019 Honda 250. So I'm.
How much do those bikes weigh? Because aren't they? They're pretty compared to a street bike. They're pretty light.
Yeah,
Especially if
they're
you're flying
light.
through the air.
Yeah, they're
Like 220 pounds.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So enough that you can kind of manhandle them.
yeah.
And get them
Oh,
where you need to
definitely.
go.
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome. So
Yeah.
where around here are any qualifiers?
The nearest one I would say is probably Briarcliff. Would you
Yeah,
say?
3.5, 4 hours.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah. Little cruise,
Okay.
but it's a nice track. It's hard clay, which is kind of opposite of my style. I like sand. I'm just a loose sand rider, I feel, but
Now, how do those work? Is it like just a one night event, or is it multiple nights? Is it multiple heats?
it's a weekend deal.
Okay.
The classes I ride are 450 Pro Sport and 250 Pro Sport, and
So those are 2 separate classes. then?
yeah, 2 separate classes. But they do the one on Saturday and the other one on Sunday, I think, to kind of keep you there. But it's a 2-day event either way.
Okay. But how many races in each do you compete in? Is it just one, or do you?
Two in each class.
Okay.
So he'd have 2 races on Saturday and 2 on Sunday. And then if you make it down to Loretta's, it's the whole week. You might run one Tuesday and one Wednesday, and you never know till you get there.
Well, and Loretta Lynn's is a 3-moto format, so they actually run 3 motos per class that you race. So the area qualifiers and the regionals are 2 moto formats per class, and Loretta Lynn's is 3.
Then it's total points accumulated during those motos?
Yeah.
Is that how they find the winner?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And if it comes down to a draw, you are determined off of your second moto finish. So if a guy goes 2-1, he beats 1-2.
Okay.
So
All right.
yeah.
So what do you plan on? Is this something you plan on doing for like the foreseeable future? I guess upcoming years. I mean, how long do you see yourself doing this? Or, do you have other plans, or what's your future look like after this year?
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of thinking on what I'd like to do. I got a good probably couple more years left in me to race motocross. Competitively, I'd still be involved in the sport for sure because I love motocross, and whatever. But as far as racing goes, I would say just a few more years, hitting it hard.
So it's not like NASCAR where you could race at 40 years old.
There are guys I've seen that do it, that each year qualify.
Competitive, yeah?
Yeah, competitive.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's actually been a professional.
I'd like to see you two get on a motocross.
Not a chance.
I know, but it would be fun to watch.
I rode last year a little bit.
Okay.
I can still ride a little bit.
Yeah, you got experience, so
Yeah.
you might be all right. But I
Right.
mean,
Scott?
I did BMX
Scott.
once. I don't know if that's even close.
My son Steve used to race BMX, and they had this 40 and over group, and I thought, I can do that. That's a piece of cake. And I was in pretty good shape, and started racing BMX in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. They had a jump, and it wasn't much of a jump, and I bailed at the top of it, and when I landed, I remember telling Stevie, when you're falling, keep your arms in, tuck and roll, and somewhere between my head and my left arm there was a short circuit because my left arm thought it could stop me. And my hand
It
wound
seems
up.
like it healed okay.
My left hand wound up somewhere far away from where it was supposed to be. And actually, after it healed, I raced once more just to prove that I had the balls to do it. And that was it, buddy.
All right, we got that big announcement coming up here in just a moment. Want to wrap things up with you first. Is there a lot of money to be won in motocross? Is there big purses? I mean, or is this more just like a hobby kind of thing?
Ask Jeremy McGrath.
Right. Yeah. Those are the guys making the big money. I would say where I'm at, I don't really make any money doing it, just enough to put back into it to keep having fun. The guys that some of the guys that I'm racing against, they have a lot of money invested in aftermarket parts and haulers and gear and everything like that, and we're just having fun going to the races and enjoying our time there, still being competitive because I'm not the type to just show up and want to be last. I want to win just as bad as everybody else, and so we put money into pipes. I got a friend, Todd Stafer, who helps me out a ton. We got pipes on the bike and radiator braces and things like that to upgrade it and make it better. But the biggest thing right now is just getting suspension on it, and I think we're right where we need to be, and just keep practicing. And
so how many hours a week do you spend working on the bike?
me, not very many. I'll be honest. Yeah, I'll be honest.
He's got a
He
crew
does
chief.
most of it.
Okay, I got
Right.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
And he
Is it a
make-
lo- does
he
it-
makes money at it because Dad spends the
Gotcha.
money, and then he makes it.
Right, right.
But I mean, is it?
So the kid goes to the pay window?
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then does he ever, like when we're riding home, here, Dad, here's 20? No.
Here, Dad, this gas is on me. No, it doesn't happen.
No.
But does it take as much work to maintain a motorcycle as it would, running a weekly late model?
Yes and no. Like his race bike right now, I've got it tore right down to the frame, greasing all the bearings, and so they do. There is a lot of upkeep to them, and it's not like a late model where you work on it and then you park it until the next race, because he's actually got 3 bikes, but you've got your practice bike that you ride almost every day, so you're working on it every day. Then your race bike, you keep it good just for racing. So there's a lot of work to it.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I don't doubt that. So, well, I appreciate both of you guys coming in.
Well, thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Learning,
Appreciate it.
More about the Schroyer. I feel like I know a little bit more about motorcycle race or motocross.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know anything about the Loretta person. 'Cause I don't
And
know country.
maybe one day we'll
I don't know much about it either,
Okay.
but
maybe one day we'll see RJ racing flat track bikes at Wasion.
Yeah.
Sure.
No, they do that at the fairgrounds.
How
Big
about
deal.
how about we've been teasing this long now? How about we do this big announcement that,
For Dirty Thursday?
Dirty Thursday or the Dirty Asphalt? What was it? I forget now. Getting dirty on the asphalt.
Okay.
You want to talk about it, or you want me to? Because I was talking to Chris, Chris
ahead.
Mize of Sandusky Speedway contacted me. It was about 5 o'clock tonight, and was
Right.
like, your partner there is going to get his way or something like that. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, I'm thinking about running dirt late models on the half-mile asphalt as part of was it the Cavalcade, I think it was?
Yes.
The Thursday night before that.
Actually, Scott, the way it started, a customer came in this afternoon and said, hey, did you see that New Smyrna down near Daytona Beach is running dirt cars on the asphalt in June? He said, you want to go? I said, Florida in June? Nah. But, and then we got just, as racers do, we were talking about, well, maybe we could do it around here. And
Chris was open to that? Did you call him or something? Or?
Actually, I messaged him on Facebook, and I think it lit him up. And, we tried a couple different dates and tried not to conflict with anything too much. And their cavalcade is October...
First weekend in October.
Yeah, 4th, 5th, and 6th, I think. And he said, well, what about if we did something on the Thursday before, which would be October 3rd? And it seemed to work real well with everybody's schedule, and I've bounced it off of a couple of racers and got a lot of good feedback.
My calendar's open. I just checked.
All right.
Are those late models with the wings?
No, this
UMP
is just
rules. he said.
UMP rules. So
late models, Wayne County late models, Attica late models, maybe some dirt or some Michigan guys.
Oh, absolutely. And then Chris
I don't
asked...
think there's much else going on. Well, nothing really is going to be on a Thursday. So
Chris asked me what I thought about some support divisions, and we bounced around...
And this was like literally 2 minutes before we came on the air tonight, right?
We bounced around Fremont trucks and compacts, and I told him I liked it. And just
you were trying to throw in some bombers from Oakshade, too.
Just before we came on the air, we talked again about allowing the Oakshade bombers to either put a 2-barrel carburetor on or disconnect the back 2 barrels of their 4-barrel carburetors. So
Chris wants to know if he should call. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, sure.
Go ahead and give us a call.
We love our buddy Chris.
He's the guy that
race director
in charge of
Sandusky Speedway. Yeah.
So and I was excited. I was like, "This sounds cool."
Oh, this is great.
Dirt late models on asphalt. This could be interesting.
Dirt tires or asphalt tires?
Dirt tires. UMP
dirt tires,
rules.
regular dirt.
My suggestion would probably be LM40s on the right side, but regular LM tires.
Now I wonder if this would be a kind of race where they'd run it if the track was moist, because like they did last year with the Fremont trucks. And they were excited about going out because the modifieds, I guess, didn't want to go out because the track was moist. And, so it doesn't have to be the best weather, right?
Chris, in case you...
it's like a 30-second delay, so
okay.
He should be calling anytime. He's probably find a phone,
419,
punch in the numbers.
419-214-0925.
So, UMP rules, dirt late models at Sandusky Speedway on October 3rd. The name is still being tossed around.
Right.
Getting dirty on the asphalt or
we
Dirty
kicked
Thursday.
around the payoff.
He wants to have that nail salon we talked about when Chris was here as
Yeah,
the sponsor,
absolutely.
which goes along with the dirty part. So,
yeah, we kicked around a payoff, and we were thinking for the late models like 1,500 to win, 200 to start, so it would be respectable. And it's on a night when nothing else is running.
And I told him, that's our show is on Thursday nights, though, when we do it live. So maybe we'd have to do it live from out there. I don't know. I guess we got some time to figure that out. Oh, he needs the number to call. Didn't he? I thought you gave it to him.
I thought I did. 419-214-0925.
I could have just called him, I suppose. While we're waiting for Chris to call, let's. He's calling now. Let's. Or somebody's calling. Hammer Down Race Report. Who's this?
Gentlemen, how are you?
Pretty good. It sounds like Chris. Just want to make sure.
Getting down, getting dirty on the asphalt on Dirty Thursday with Hand Jobs as the main sponsor.
There it is.
I love it.
You just wanted to find some way to work in that sponsor, right?
Yeah. Love it.
Have you cleared it with those folks yet?
No, they
Okay.
don't have that yet.
But you're talking about just the sponsorship. You're not the actual event.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, the actual event. It took what, around about 45 minutes for this to all?
I think so. It was just one of those brainstorming sessions where everything clicked.
Well, when I was at South Georgia Motorsports Park in Valdosta, Georgia, we had a half-mile asphalt track, and we had a drag strip too, but we ran under the National Late Model Series rules, dirt late models on that track. And I'm telling you, I think I said something back around the hangover time to you guys. Phenomenal. I mean, the speeds, and we had them on asphalt tires, of course, the old Goodyears back then, 10-inch tire, but it's a totally different, for asphalt fans, it's something totally different to watch. If you got 16 of these guys out there, it's a phenomenal show.
I just figured out why Ron's excited about this.
Why?
Because of the dirt late model racers, there's not many of them that have run their dirt late model on asphalt.
Well, yeah, he's got...
Ron's got years of experience.
I've got
there.
a couple laps there, yeah.
14 wins.
Yeah.
But, it fits in, and I think, dirt fans are a lot different than asphalt fans, but, a lot of dirt fans, asphalt's for getting there, all that story, and...
Yeah.
Never heard that.
And the thing of it is Thursday night with dirt fans, with asphalt fans nowadays, to get them there during the week and stuff, it kind of, it becomes a chore, but with dirt fans, they don't care.
Well, the one thing, Chris, the one thing I thought about was this is sort of a prelude to your cavalcade race,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of people that plan that weekend way in advance. So we just need to convince them to move their plans up one day, and I think it can be huge.
Well, I think it'll be real huge. We normally, last year when we practiced on Friday, and Mother Nature isn't being good to anybody right now, but, it was bad to us last year. We had a lot of cars there for practice, so you're right. This can turn into Thursday night. People are coming in Friday morning and stuff. They'll come Thursday night and they get this show, and what just sitting here in the last 4 hours, 3 hours, I don't even think it's been that long, the dirt trucks, and then you called right before you went on air, and I said, well, heck yeah, let's do that, yeah. And what I was also sitting here thinking is I'd love nothing better than bringing front-wheel drive guys in and have dirt versus asphalt front-wheel drive.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And the thing of it is it gets something, it gives dirt fans and asphalt fans something different to look at with good racing. And I'm telling you, I really believe, or I wouldn't have jumped on this so quick, that watching them cars down in South Georgia week after week, excuse me, and the speeds they carried and the racing they did was, that you guys go into the corners and it kicks up almost like you're on dirt, and it's just a different sight, and I think this will be a great, huge show.
Yeah, I think it'll draw in dirt fans to your track, and maybe some of your regular fans get introduced to some of the dirt cars.
Well, let's face it, you got, no offense to nobody, you got a couple, older racers sitting in the studio right now. I was trying to watch how I worded that.
Be careful.
I mean, but
Veteran drivers.
Veteran drivers. You got a couple veteran drivers there, and they'll tell you, things 15 years ago, are a lot different now with fans. And I've always wanted to do this up in Ohio because, we did it in South Georgia, but you bringing in a whole other demographic of fans mixing, and I think it's very important. I mean, with the way short track racing where the state of it's at with asphalt to start with, and some of that overflows into the dirt track programs. They're not hit quite as hard yet, but a good mix like this can bring a lot back into short track racing. This could turn in to be a marquee show.
Yeah.
Chris, our good friend Scott Schultz from Toledo and Flat Rock Speedways has always said that stupid sells. Now, not that I'm calling this a stupid idea or anything, but it's just so diverse that I think it could sell really well to the fans and the racers.
It's something very different. Stupid? No, you know what? He's right, though. I've done some stupid things in my life that have worked well in this industry, and done some things that you think out real for a long time and take a week or two to decide, and it's failed. And some of the better things that I've done in my career has taken about an hour and a half to decide.
Just shoot from the hip.
Right, and that's like the modified deal that we have on that Cavalcade weekend. It was a huge success last year. Me and Kevy Jaycox are riding around the track. Hey, why don't we do this? Yeah. Runs up to the house, and next thing you know, we're announcing it. It took about an hour and a half, and we had that whole modified, race last year, and it was a huge success. So, I really thank you, Ron, for because this is something that I've thought about for a long time. That's why I jumped it so quick when you brought it up to me. Hell yeah. So we just got to decide what kind of tires you're running.
Right, and we'll discuss that. We won't make that announcement tonight because I don't think either one of us are prepared to do that.
So this is just a few hours old. This whole idea, this whole thing coming together real quick. Now, I understand things could probably change, but what are you looking at? You're looking at running dirt late models.
Dirt late models. It'd be what Ron said, the UMP late model rules, and we'll stick to that. No asphalt late models be allowed to run, but dirt late models under them rules, and then we'll go with I think what you guys are suggesting.
The Fremont trucks and
I haven't talked to any of them yet, but I guess we'll announce it right now. Yeah, I'd like to have the Fremont trucks and you guys from Oakshade without two barrel or unplugged two. Okay. And then I really would like to put together
the compact
front wheel drive. Yeah,
or the
compact. Battle of the tracks, dirt versus asphalt.
Well, and I think that could work real well.
Right, and a lot of our Renegade guys, a lot of the dirt tracks that run front wheel drives, them rules are kind of opened up. They're pretty free with the rules, and that's the way we are at Sandusky with our Renegade series. The Renegade Stock Series is opened up pretty much, so this could be a huge event.
Yeah, that's why I'm. 3 classes already on a Thursday night. It's going to be. You got a lot of cars that you could be tapping into coming from all over in all those classes.
With plenty of time to promote this.
Yeah.
The cool thing about the dirt guys versus the main event type cars that have raced there for a long time, the dirt guys don't know where they can't race on the track, so that part can get exciting.
Right, and the thing about you guys is we watch late models and street stocks and that get sideways at Sandusky, and we're like, oh God, he's going to lose it. You guys love it. That's why I used to tell people, like when I was up there the last time, the Fremont trucks come out when it was wet. Aren't you worried about them getting hell, they like that.
That's it.
They're not comfortable with being sideways.
They're feeling like it's home.
And you see that. I mean, that'll be part of the excitement, I think, that the fans, will get is even on asphalt. A lot of you guys will throw that rear out a little bit. And,
Chuck Hummer?
Right.
Yeah. Well, and my son Steve did.
Yeah, but you had big sideboard. You're used to running with the big sideboard. This might be a little different.
No, I've run
rules.
that race several times without regular late model configuration before we decided to build a board.
Well, definitely looking forward to this, Chris, and I know yours is just coming together just now, so keep us updated on everything going on with that, and we'll do our best to
once again, I really appreciate Ryan calling me today, but I really do. I said it before, and I'm not trying to put some sucker bites on you there, Scott, but we really do appreciate what you guys do with this show for racing.
I appreciate it. And when you sent me that message, I thought you were just messing with me because you wanted to get the Hand Jobs nail salon thing in there. I was like, you're just messing with me. Okay.
But you got to admit that was pretty good.
That was good, yeah.
I said, hey, you better watch my Facebook Live.
So this weekend, are things still on schedule for the season opener?
As of right now, we kind of were looking at a decision today. We got our demo derby planned, and we'll come out tomorrow. We're probably gonna, whether rain or shine, we're probably gonna still go ahead with that demo derby on Saturday. So,
All right.
we'll make that decision this week, because you know how April is in Ohio, and they could call for 100% and the sun be out. So we'll make that on Saturday afternoon. The decision about the racing aspect of it. But the way it looks right now, our demo derby will go forward, rain or shine.
Cool. All right.
Good luck
All
with
right,
your
guys.
first part of the season, and boy, sure looking forward to that October race.
All right, thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah,
you bet,
have a good
Chris.
night.
Thanks.
Bye.
Chris Mize there from Sandusky Speedway on that big.
You didn't kill it.
Oh, I hit the wrong button, I think.
You still did. Well,
There it goes. So yeah, the dirty something, Dirty Thursday, or getting dirty on the asphalt, whatever it's going to be. It's October 3rd, Sandusky Speedway, part of that Cavalcade weekend. Dirt late models will be the headliner, and Fremont trucks and Oakshade Bombers are
with a halfway
invited.
decent payoff.
And then the compact, or the four cylinders, dirt and asphalt for the four cylinders. So that'd be pretty cool. I'm looking forward to that. And that could change. There could be some other things worked out, because, like you said, I think this is, 4 hours old, this baby is.
Yeah.
So there you go. We haven't done this in a while, and I know we're running a little late, but we haven't done our how many. We used to do that.
How many times?
Cars? This weekend, I thought we would go with the area tracks around here. 7 total we're talking about. This would be Attica, Toledo, Oakshade, Fremont, Sandusky, Eldora, and Flat Rock. Those are the 7 tracks. Of those 7, how many are going to run this weekend? We'll let
2.
you pick first.
2.
Roddy picks 2.
Ooh. Go ahead, RJ.
2 is pretty strong. I'll give it 3.
3,
Just
okay.
to be different, but there's not going to be many. It's calling for a lot of rain. This
Eldora
weekend.
was on that.
Eldora is on that, yeah. And remember, they moved their start
They
time
moved it
to
up.
2 o'clock.
Out of 7.
Out of 7 tracks.
I'm going to take 4, but only because 2 and 3 were taken.
Well, then I'll go with 1. I'll take the other. You went in on this, Kathy?
Yeah, goose egg.
Goose egg, okay.
Oh,
That's a good
Yeah,
guess.
that's a good one.
Well, if it was last weekend, you would have won. So, speaking of upcoming races, we'll have our weekend weather pit stop right after this. Attica is scheduled to go tomorrow night. Of course, the Spring Nationals that got rained out last weekend was supposed to be a 2-day show, now condensed into 1 with the All-Star 410 sprints, the UMP late models, and 305s. Gates open at 4, racing at 7:45. General admission is $22 for that.
if the weatherman works with us, that'll be an awesome show.
That will, and well, no spoiler alerts. Toledo Speedway will be in action on Saturday, hopefully. Saturday afternoon-ish, evening-ish. The Hemmelgarn Racing Super Fitness Raleigh Beal Classic, presented by Auto Value bumper-to-bumper parts stores, featuring the USAC Silver Crown Series. They're going to go 100 laps. Non-wing sprint cars going 50 laps, plus a vintage race car exhibition and open wheel racers reunion. Pits open at 2 o'clock, front gate at 2:15, and racing at 6 for that. The Walleye are still tied, if that's what you're looking at.
What was that?
Walleye are still tied. If that's
Okay.
Walleye in Cincinnati. Hockey there. Oakshade going to kick off their season, hopefully, on Saturday night with a Bill Reckner Memorial. That's going to be featuring sportsman bombers and compacts and possibly some late models hot lapping, checking things out. Is your car ready?
Not yet.
Okay. Motor still?
It may be there now. If
Okay.
not, it'll be there in the morning.
Gates scheduled to open at Oakshade at 4 o'clock, racing at 7. General admission is $12. $2 off general admission for opening night there, thanks to, I think it was JD and Sons Trucking.
Right.
Fremont Speedway, supposed to be back in action. Level Performance Gressman Power Sports fan favorite night. That's Saturday nights, featuring the 410s, 305s, and the dirt trucks. Gates open at 4, racing at 7, general admission $15 there. Sandusky Speedway, as we mentioned, scheduled to have their official season opener on Saturday night as well. Supposed to run the street stocks, Lake Erie Stock Series, Renegades, beginner stocks, and then the Demo Derby and Power Wheel Demo Derby that Chris talked about on the phone there a little bit ago. Gates scheduled to open at 3, racing at 7. General admission is $10 for that. And Eldora, as we mentioned earlier, just changing their start time for their 66th season opener. Saturday afternoon is going to be at 2 o'clock now. Gates will open at 11 a.m. They have the American Late Model Series event, $5,000 to win for that. The NRA Sprint Invaders, Dirt Car, UMP Modifieds, Eldora Stocks, all in action, and $19 general admission for that. Reserve tickets are $24 if you want to reserve a seat. And I believe the American Late Model Series running, is it I-96 on Friday night?
I-96 Friday.
I think that's the season opener for them.
Correct.
25th season opener for them. And then Sunday afternoon, this is the 7th track. I told you there were 7. Flat Rock Speedway is scheduled to get things going with the Motor City 200. That's a Sunday afternoon event featuring the CRA Jeg Series late models going 100 laps. The CRA Junior late models, 25 laps. That's scheduled to be the very first race. I saw a young lady they had on their website is going to be running the CRA Junior late model.
All right.
race. iCar All-Star Modifieds also in action, 75 laps for that. That all totals up to that. 200 racing scheduled to start at 2 p.m., and hopefully it doesn't snow. Lima Land's not scheduled to start till the following Friday. They may be the smart one of the bunch.
Yeah.
How about we check out our weekend weather pit stop
Sounds good.
with special guest. It's my crew chief.
Really?
Did it, yeah. Okay. Let's see how this works out here.
Hi, this is Robin with your weekend weather pit stop racing weather report. Attica, watch out. Friday night is going to be cold and really, really breezy. So you might want to bring your heavy coat, gloves, and prepare for that northwest wind. Saturday's looking a little iffy for those running on Saturday night. Eldora, Toledo, Fremont, Oakshade, and Sandusky. The later night races might catch some rain. It's going to be still really, really cold. So once again, if we do get to race, bring your heavy jackets, maybe even some umbrellas. And on Saturday, it looks like it's going to be a little bit on the diffy side in the morning with some rain, possible snow showers. But towards the evening, I think it's going to get better. So high of about 55 on Sunday. High on Saturday, about 56. And Friday night, it's just going to be cold.
There you go.
Yuck.
Not the most racer-friendly forecast. That's straight from WTOL as well.
You know, I used to really like Robin.
Yeah. Well, then maybe that's why Ryan Weekman didn't record my forecast this week.
Could be.
Well, that, and I also sent it over to him a little bit too late. But that's
Robin, she can fill in anytime. She did a good job.
okay. Yeah, we took about 4 takes, but yeah,
Really?
we got it eventually. It's all good. That's gonna do it for this edition of the Hammer Down Racing Report. It's the White Flag.
Number
White
83?
Flag. This is 81.
81?
Yeah, not
Okay.
83 yet.
Okay.
Number 81. Next week will be 82. And next week on the show, we are going to have Cap Henry. We'll be talking to him.
Sprint car racer extraordinaire.
The winner of the, I believe it was the very first Attica Fremont Championship Series 410 feature event a few weeks ago. So, talk to him. It'll be exciting, I'm sure. Lots of exciting things coming up in the next few weeks.
I hear music. I think they're telling us we've got to go.
Yeah, them. It's those them people.
Yeah.
Make sure to give Ron Miller Race Cars a call. 734-856-7223. Help him support the Ron Miller Race Cars Studio and all of our live streaming options now. Don't forget to visit our website, hammerdownracingreport.com. You can always email me, scotthammer@iheartmedia.com, if you have any show ideas or some things you want us to cover, or if you wanted sponsorship information.
Or just bring us pizza.
There, I like that. Dean. No. So that's it for on behalf of Ron Miller and the Schroyers. Thank you guys for coming in, Roddy and RJ.
Thanks for sitting there pushing the buttons, Scott.
Yeah. I got like too much going on here. It's like mission control.
Yeah.
So
you can fly the space shuttle.
yeah, I got to figure out how to end the show now. I think it's this button, and then I do some other things. So we're out. See you next week.
Goodbye.
7 o'clock live next Thursday.
You have been listening to the Hammer Down Racing Report from the Ron Miller Race Car Studio. Listen on demand on iHeartRadio.